Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new then welcome. My name's Kristina, and on my channel we talk all things beauty from my own experiences. So before you go, make sure to subscribe to my channel, like this video, and leave any comments that you have for me down below. So as someone that is constantly recommending makeup, skincare, beauty products in general, it's very difficult to decide on how I feel about something, and that is the end all be all of my opinion on that product. I used to get really nervous about recommending things, and then later down the line I changed my mind for some reason or another, and then people thought that I was backtracking or I was being a hypocrite or something. But then I realized I am human. People change their minds. It happens every day. And today I want to talk to you guys about products that I have changed my mind on, whether it be a good change of mind or a bad change of mind. I'm going to be sharing with you guys a handful of products and ingredients, I guess you could say, that I have completely changed my mind on, and we're just going to talk about it. I thought this would be a really fun video because I've never done a video like this before, and for a while I've been thinking about filming it. So if this is something that you guys like, let me know in the comments down below if you're interested in seeing topics that are similar to this one, or if you would like to see me continue this topic, let me know. I would love your feedback on this. So the first products I changed my mind on are these from Rhode. These are the tinted lip balms, and just their lip balms in general. Whenever they first launched their lip balms, I did purchase one. I think it was like the caramel scented one. I tried it and it was nice. I liked the formulation. I liked the way that it felt on the lips. However, after a couple of weeks, I want to say, the formulation got a little bit grainy. I did not like that, so I kind of like veered away from that lip balm and I just stopped using it. I'm pretty sure I tossed it because I was like, this is a weird formulation. I don't think it's supposed to be getting grainy. And then I purchased these because everyone was talking about them. I loved the colors. They just looked so nice, and I was like, I'm gonna give them a shot. I tried them out. I love these colors. I loved the formulation, how thick they were, how slick they felt on the lips, how hydrating they were. However, after a couple of weeks of using these, again, the formulation got super grainy. I'm not sure what's happening. There's some sort of crystallization that's going on with the formula. Maybe it's like sugar content with the scents or something. I know that some people have expressed that the same thing has happened to them, and other people are still using theirs and it's totally fine. But for me, I don't know what's going on. Like, you can kind of see in this little swatch on the back of my hand, there are tiny little grains right up here in this area, and it has happened to all of the lip balms that I purchased from them. I think it's so odd the way that happens. Here you go. I did a thicker swatch, and you can see those little things that look like bubbles. They're not bubbles. They're like little grainy bits, and it's so interesting to me. It's very unfortunate because, again, the formula is super nice. It feels nice and hydrating and thick, but it feels like a lip scrub almost, and I couldn't look past it, and it just didn't seem right to me to continue to use it on my lips when the formula was getting compromised. Now, if they fix that formula issue, I would definitely purchase them again just based off of the way they felt and the colors, but really the formulation is just not it for me. Some good alternatives to these are, of course, the Naturium Phyto Glow lip balms. They came out with a bunch of cafe collection lip balms that are like all nude shades, and also, of course, the Summer Fridays butter bombs. Next thing I want to talk about specifically is an ingredient that is within this. I've talked about this countless times, but it is benzoyl peroxide. You guys have heard me talk about it in skincare videos. Back in the day in high school, I did try using benzoyl peroxide spot treatments and washes, and it was just extremely drying on my then dry skin. It didn't really work for the acne that I needed it to. If you didn't know the difference with salicylic acid and benzoyl peroxide, they kind of target different types of acne, and also your skin is going to be unique in how it reacts to these ingredients. So not everyone is going to have the same reaction to them, but for me personally, when I was in high school, I believe I was just experiencing like hormonal acne, puberty, you know, all of the things that come with puberty, and I had tiny little bumps. They weren't whiteheads, they were almost kind of like fungal acne. At the time, I was testing out both benzoyl peroxide and salicylic acid, and the salicylic acid products worked way better. So I was like, okay, I'm sticking to salicylic acid because clearly benzoyl peroxide doesn't work for me. Now fast forward more than a decade, I swear by benzoyl peroxide. I still use salicylic acid in the morning times, but at night, this is my acne product of choice. It works incredibly well, unlike anything else, for my whiteheads, for my cystic acne, and even for tiny little bumps that I have occurring, whether it's hormonal acne around the time that I'm supposed to have my period, or just like random acne that I get whenever I have a bad reaction to a product, maybe a makeup product or another skincare product. Benzoyl peroxide will completely eliminate that for me. It is a magical ingredient, and I sometimes think about like how unfortunate it is that I just reintroduce myself to it when all these years I could have had clear skin. And now that I have like pretty oily skin consistently, it doesn't dry my skin out at all. I actually don't have any sort of dryness when it comes to benzoyl peroxide or salicylic acid, which is very surprising to me because the amount that I use them both every day. I mean, you would think my skin would be super dry and flaky, but it thrives. It thrives with these ingredients. Next up, I don't have it with me anymore. I actually got rid of it, but it is the Embryolisse Latte Cream Concentrate. You know, the one that comes in the aluminum squeezy tube. I talked about it, I think, the end of 2022 and the beginning of 2023. That was my go-to primer. I used it consistently every single time I did my makeup because it was super thick and moisturizing. I felt like it made my makeup go on extremely smooth. It was just a really good alternative for a primer because you could use it as a moisturizer or a primer or both. I loved it. However, I am almost certain that that product is the one that like kick-started all of my bad acne at the beginning of 2023. The reason I say that is because I put into this website that I use whenever I buy products and stuff, and it tells you if there are ingredients that are comedogenic, which means they would clog the pores. When I put that in, there was a couple of ingredients in there and I was like, oh my goodness, I think this is the culprit, because around the time that I started using that is around the time that my skin started to break out. So it does take a little while for your skin to have reactions to specific products. Not all the time, you know, like if you have a reaction to I don't know, a new makeup product immediately, like you feel it burning or itching or something, obviously that's going to be an instant reaction, you know, but for a lot of acne that comes up on the skin, it actually takes a couple of weeks for your skin to regenerate it and for that skin that was affected by the product to actually hit the surface of the skin and start causing acne. That's actually something I learned not too long ago. So whenever I did the math and I was thinking about all the products that I had tried around the time that I was suspicious that the acne was starting to form under my skin. But that one specifically, I remember when I took it out of my routine and I started using more acne specific ingredients, my skin cleared up a good amount. So I'm pretty sure that like was terrible for my skin. Of course, everyone is different. This may be your holy grail, and for a while it was for me. It was so nice. It made my makeup look so nice, but I can't use it anymore. So yeah, I definitely changed my mind on that one. Next up, we have a makeup product that I've talked about a few times now. It is the Benefit Fluff Up Brow Wax, and this one is described as a flex wax. It's almost like a waxy liquid. You take it out and it's like this white wax. You can use this to brush into the brows, and when I first used this, I approached it kind of like a liquid stronghold gel. Think of like the Anastasia Brow Setter, the Benefit 24-hour brow setter. That one is a liquid and it's a gel. I was kind of approaching it that way. So when I first used this, the first couple times actually, I would like brush this into my brows, and I really liked how feathery it made my brows look. But then I was like, oh, it doesn't hold them. Like they're not staying, and my brow hairs would kind of droop over and not look fluffy after a while. For a little bit, I actually didn't use this at all. It kind of just sat there and I was like, man, what a waste. Like I had high hopes for this and people seemed to really like it. But then for some reason I decided I would give it another try, and when I did, I combined it with other brow products. The way that I found that this has worked for me the best is actually to use it to shape my brows up, like get them feathery and nice. And then once that dries, I like to go in with my brow pencil to just fill in all the gaps. And then after all of that sets down, I go in with a stronghold liquid gel. So something like Benefit 24-hour Brow, the Live Tinted one, just anything that claims to hold the brows up, I will use that mainly on like the tips of my brows, and that's enough to keep them set all day. And using it that way completely changed my perspective on this. Sometimes when it comes to those more liquidy gel brow products, if you use too much in your brows, it starts to look really crunchy, and if you brush your brow pencil in there, it can get very flaky. And alternatively, if you use your brow pencil before going in with any sort of wax or gel, sometimes for me, as someone that has like thicker brows, it can almost look muddy. It'll look a little messy because I don't know exactly where the gaps are in my eyebrows without like putting them in place. This allows me to shape my brows exactly where I want them, get them really nice and feathery, and then I can work my brow pencil through it without worrying about it getting crusty or flaky or losing their shape, you know? And then just using a separate gel to like put it all in place and like set it all down is perfect. I feel like this gives me a really, really good clean brow look, and I really enjoy this now. Not gonna lie, I thought this was a complete miss at first, but I'm glad I gave it another try because this is now my third bottle of this. Next up, we have this one. Unfortunately, I'm actually really sad about this. This is the LYS bronzing stick. This is in the shade Courage, so it's a beautiful bronzing stick. It's such a beautiful undertone. Everything about this bronzing stick was so appealing to me. However, my problem with it is that it's kind of too pigmented for me. Of course, it's workable, but it's kind of hard to blend because of how pigmented it is. And you kind of have to sit there and blend it out for a little while and make sure that everything is completely blended out before moving on. If you blend it with your finger, like you can see, it has really, really good pigmentation. But I was noticing whenever I would blend it into the face with a brush or something like that, it just got really splotchy, especially in my trouble area. I have this weird patch of skin right here that just never wants to hold on to bronzer, and I have to be very, very precise about that area or else it'll look very splotchy. And I could never get it right specifically in this area, but also just in general on like my cheeks. It always tended to get blotchy right around like the bottom parts of where I would place it. And because it's so pigmented, it would deposit more and more and more pigment around those trouble areas without actually covering those areas. Unfortunately for me, it does not work, but honestly, I feel like it's such a good product because it's super creamy and it's super pigmented. A little bit goes a very long way. It just doesn't really work for my skin. Next up, we have this perfume, and this one pains me, guys. This one hits deep in my soul. So Glossier You was a love story from the very beginning for me. I started using this, I want to say in, I don't even know, maybe 2016, 2017, around that time. And only recently, I think sometime last year, I stopped using it as often. Like, this is still a pretty fresh bottle. And the reason being is the fact that they changed the formulation. It does not last as long as it used to on me. I'm pretty sure for a solid like 5 years, this was my only fragrance. I did not veer away from it. Nothing compared to this. And the ISOE Super in it is the thing that makes it smell like your skin. Like, the whole appeal to this is that it smells unique and different on every single person because it kind of just brings out your natural chemicals. I think that's like the science behind it. And while it still does smell the way that it used to, there's also there's like a tinge of difference in it, you know? Like, you spray this and once it dries down and sets on the skin, it still smells like Glossier You, but then it also has this lingering undertone of something else. It's not bad, but it's also not great. I just like notice it. And now it just doesn't last on my skin the way it used to, which is so unfortunate. So a lot of 2023, I actually spent looking for new fragrances. Like, I was looking up Glossier You dupes, and I've tried so many, like the Fleur Missing Person, the Reserve Skin Clean Reserve Skin, the super expensive Diptyque one. I have the Urban Outfitters dupe, this one, the Fleur de Blonde. It smells similar, but smells a little bit more floral, a little more sweet. The Kaoli one as well, I think Pink Pepper, I've picked that one up too. I'm pretty sure that any video that I've come across that has said like this is a dupe or a sister of Glossier You, I've picked it up one form or another. I'm still looking for a good replacement. I'm no longer looking for a dupe because I truly don't think that there is something that smells exactly like this, but I am definitely still looking for replacements for this. So if you guys have any recommendations for me, let me know in the comments down below. I'm holding on to this mainly because of nostalgia, but I don't know, maybe one day I'll reach for it again just to like spritz onto the skin. So this next one, I wasn't really sure. I had to test it out a couple more times before I decided, okay, like I really have changed my mind on these. And they are the e.l.f. blush wands. Specifically the blush ones. The bronzer wand I still enjoy, but these I'm not a big fan of anymore. I was really excited about them to begin with, especially because I really liked the contour wand, you know, and because they're supposed to be dupes for the Charlotte Tilbury ones. I know they came out with more shades, but these during their first launch, Rose You Slay and Berry Radiant, in theory, these colors are beautiful. I think that they're really pretty. They're very flattering. So there's Rose You Slay, and here is Berry Radiant right here. And while they're really pretty tones, you can see even in this light how metallic and shiny these are. And it kind of got to a point where when I would apply these on the skin, it was almost too metallic for me, you know? I really like the tones of these, and as you blend it into the skin, you definitely can get rid of how strong that metallic look is, but you do kind of lose a little bit of that pigmentation. And as you continue to put more of this product on, it can get a little bit splotchy on the skin because it does dry down pretty quickly. I know a lot of people were very excited about this, me included. And also the packaging is just not great. Like as you can see, it's quite messy. That's just kind of the nature of these like sponge tip applicator products. Like it gets all over the inside cap and it gets really goopy and kind of gross, which, you know, wouldn't be such a bad thing if I really like the product a lot, but unfortunately it just leaves me looking more metallic than I want and not enough pigmentation whenever I try to like balance it out. The thing that kind of like put me over the edge is when I got it to look really nice like on camera, or like when I was doing my makeup here in my studio, when I walked outside my cheeks just looked like the Tin Man. They were so metallic and almost like orangey, so wasn't a big fan of that. So unfortunately, I have changed my mind on these. If they came out with just a cream finish without any glitter or metallic, that would be great. But they did recently come out with the liquid blushes, like the ones that are supposed to be similar to the Rare Beauty liquid blushes. And honestly, those already are like way better in my opinion. Next is another skincare ingredient, and it is this one, Tretinoin. I fell into the hype, okay? I fell into the TikTok hype. I had seen video after video after video for months talking about how Tretinoin completely transformed people's skin and how amazing it is. And I went to my dermatologist and I asked her about Tretinoin, and she was like, yeah, I can prescribe you Tretinoin, because at that time I was having a lot of breakouts and I was telling her my concern about the hyperpigmentation as well as just general like anti-aging. And she prescribed me 0.025%, which is a very low dosage of Tretinoin. And I talked about it in my skincare video. I'll link that down below. When I first started using Tretinoin, my skin was glowy, it was glassy, it looked incredible. Like truly my skin had never looked as good as it looked before I started using the Tretinoin, and I was super excited. But after, I want to say a month, I started getting crazy acne, like super bad cystic acne, cluster breakouts. And I know that like people have said your skin's going to purge, but actually I read an article. Did you know that your skin doesn't technically purge? Really what's happening, instead of what we now call purging, is actually your skin getting irritated by that specific ingredient. And as time goes on, your skin builds immunity to that ingredient. So that's like the purging, and then getting past that purging. It still sounds like purging for sure, but yeah, I just thought that was an interesting little tidbit that I had read. I thought that I would get past that purging, or I thought my skin would get used to it and build immunity to it, but it never really did. So I purged for about 2 going on to 3 months, and it was consistent. Nothing really helped it. I didn't think it was worth it. My skin was getting really bad, and not only was I purging and getting acne, but I was also getting a ton of acne scarring and hyperpigmentation from it. So I was like, it's not worth it. I have other products that I can test out. I have other products that I think would work just as well, you know, give me the same effect. Would it be as quick as Tretinoin? Probably not. However, I was like willing to take that risk. And ever since I took Tretinoin out of my skincare routine and I got into a really good routine, my skin has looked just as good as it used to when I first started using Tretinoin. So, you know, they do say that this ingredient is not for everybody. Not everyone's skin can handle it, and not everyone's skin is going to love it. And unfortunately, my skin does not seem to like Tretinoin, and it's totally fine because there are always alternatives to ingredients that would work for your skin. All right, and lastly, for the last product that I changed my mind on, it is this guy. This is my Dyson Airwrap. I bought a Dyson Airwrap at the end of last year during the Sephora sale. This is her in all of her glory. So I did get like this fun blue color. It is so bright. I was very unsure about the color whenever I received it. I was like, did I make a bad decision? Should I just get the orange and gray one? But no, I really like this. I think it's really fun. It's super eye-catching, and it's just like cute to look at, you know? As you guys know, I've had a long journey on going back and forth with buying a Dyson Airwrap. It has been years since I started to really debate on it. I never thought it was worth the $600. I still don't think it's worth the $600. I think that's kind of insane for myself to be spending on this, even though I do like beauty content. So whenever I purchased it during the sale, I also was able to use gift cards and just like everything else that I had saved up. So whenever the Sephora sale came around, I was able to get it on a discount as well as use gift cards and stuff like that. So I ended up only paying, I want to say maybe $300 at most, which was great. And I was like, I can definitely do that. So I feel like I've gone back and forth and I've changed my mind several times on this, right? I would say the first step of me changing my mind was even before I purchased the Dyson. There were so many times where I was like, I'm going to buy it. And then I would just backtrack and not purchase it. And then the second round of changing my mind was when I actually purchased it and I was using it, I was testing it out, and I was like, oh man, like it's good for the curl attachment, you know? Like I thought it gave me really nice bouncy curls. They lasted a very long time, even longer than my Shark Flex style curls would. I was like, these curls are great. But when it came to the round brush, it was kind of difficult for me to use. I do have a video where I was talking about my first time using the Dyson Airwrap, so I'll link that in the description box down below so you guys can kind of see. I was very unsure because when I was using it, these bristles didn't really hold my hair, especially towards the ends of my hair. It would kind of just fly off of it and I wouldn't be able to get a very clean blowout look. And it was very difficult for me to get all of my hair looking uniform and get that really sleek blowout because I would have little straggler ends, you know what I mean? The Shark Flex style does have boar bristles as well as these plastic bristles, so I felt like I needed those boar bristles. However, I did change my mind. I learned if I use high heat and medium power, my hair is able to fully grasp on to this round brush and I don't have any stragglers like flying around or anything like that. So I just can't use high heat, high power, and it gives me the most beautiful, fresh, sleek blowouts, and I love it. I really, really enjoy this tool. I want to create more content surrounding my Dyson Airwrap, so if you guys have any requests, leave them down below for me. And I really do think it's one of those things where like if you finally get it, you still have to practice with it and learn it and become a professional. But once you do, it is a game-changing tool. Definitely. Okay guys, those were all of the products, ingredients, and tools that I have changed my mind on specifically. Let me know what products or tools or ingredients you guys have tried and initially thought one thing and then change your mind completely. I'd love to know what your lived experiences have been. These are just some of mine. I'm sure that if I really look around, I would definitely find more products that I have had a change of heart in. And if you guys want to see a follow-up video to this, I would love to do it. So just let me know in the comments down below if you enjoy this type of content. If you enjoyed it, if you liked it, you found it helpful, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos like this one. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!